Right everyone, it is Finn here and welcome back to my channel, where in today's video we will be looking at all 20 Premier League teams and I'll be giving a transfer suggestion that I believe each team should make. Now it is currently the transfer window and all 20 Premier League teams will be looking to buy players to improve their squads for the upcoming 21-22 Premier League season, which I'm so excited for, by the way. So in today's video I've come up with one transfer for each Premier League team that I believe they should make for the upcoming season. Now I've tried to be somewhat realistic with these transfer ideas. Obviously if you are a team that lacks an attacking ability, not every team can afford the likes of Robert Lewandowski and Lionel Messi. I'm sorry Brentford, but I think you guys know it's true. But without further ado, let me get into the 20 Premier League suggestions. It might be quite a lengthy video, if so, I am sorry. So make sure that you do have your popcorn, your snacks, your coffee, whatever it takes, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Now we will be starting off in alphabetical order. Therefore, team number one I will be talking about is Arsenal, and in terms of the transfer suggestion, I mean, the Gunners, in my opinion, were firing blanks last season. On the attacking front, I don't think they were quite there. I think Lacazette's picked up towards the end of the season. I think Aubameyang is past his prime. And the suggestion I have for Arsenal is going to be Ivan Toney, the Brentford striker, who got 33 goals and 10 assists in the Championship last season, which is absolutely mental, and Arsenal need a player like him. I know lots of people want Arsenal to improve in the midfield and defense. I posted a poll on my community tab on YouTube where you guys voted, and you guys seem to think that they need to improve midfield and defensively, but I do believe striker-wise is where it is at for Arsenal. I believe if they get Ben White, which I believe Arsenal will, that is a huge defensive improvement. Obviously Rose Smith in an attacking midfield position with Joe Willock returning to Arsenal, I think that would be huge. And I do believe that the point where they do need to improve is the striker position. Obviously this is just my opinion, which by the way guys, if you do want to take part in this channel and have your say, make sure that you do subscribe down below. Obviously I post polls on my community tab almost daily, so I can give you guys a voice on this channel. I want you guys to have your say on this YouTube channel. That's why I do stuff like community posts. Now, second team, I'm going to speed this up a tiny bit. It is going to be Aston Villa, and the transfer suggestion I have is going to be AXEL TUANZEBE. Obviously, was part of that Aston Villa team that got promoted into the Premier League when he was on loan from Manchester United. TUANZEBE isn't going to get the game time he needs at United now that they've got Victor Lindelof, Eric Bailly, Harry Maguire, and what looks like Raphael Varane. He's a young, promising centre-back, 23 years old, very fast on the ball, great at distributing the ball, a very, very good, capable young centre-back overall with a promising future. Won't get enough game time at Manchester United and does deserve to play for a team like Aston Villa. Aston Villa are strong attacking and midfield-wise, in my opinion. They've got a brilliant goalkeeper. Yes, they've got a good defence with Konsa and Mings, but they do need a bit more depth in the defence. That is why TUANZEBE, I believe, deserves a move to Aston Villa. Now, team number three I'm going to be talking about is going to be Brentford, the newbies, or should I say the new bees. I know, I'm not very funny, to the Premier League, obviously their first ever season in the Premier League, but believe it or not, although they're not a Premier League team, I believe they have a solid squad. Obviously Ivan Toney in attack, they've got a brilliant goalkeeper, they've got a brilliant squad overall, so it's hard to make suggestions, but the one area maybe in my opinion I feel like they could pick up is the left back position, and it's going to be another Manchester United player in the likes of Brandon Williams. Once again, not going to get much game time at Manchester United with Alex Telles and Luke Shaw, so I do believe that maybe Williams does deserve game time at Brentford, whether it's a one-year loan spell or a permanent transfer. I feel like at 20 years old, Brandon Williams is a very capable, promising left back. He's great in attacking positions, defensive positions, does deserve game time, and I believe at a club like Brentford could do very, very well, especially at distributing the ball. Maybe the only other positions Brentford could improve with is maybe their winger positions, but I think Brandon Williams could also improve in that area. Now, team number four I'm going to get into is going to be the likes of Brighton. Now, Brighton is a team I really like. I feel like they've got some solid centre-back options, even without Ben White. I think they've got a good midfield. I think they've got a brilliant goalkeeper. I think they've got a good attack. But maybe, in my opinion, they need a new strike option. Yes, I think Neil Maupay can be a good strike on his day, but at the end of the day, I feel like Brighton needs someone more clinical. They have been linked to the likes of, I believe it's Odsonne Edouard, that's how you pronounce it, the 23-year-old Celtic striker, the French striker, who got 19 goals in the Scottish League this season, 22 last year and 15 goals the season before that. He is a clinical striker. He has been linked to Brighton, and if they can get a striker like him, I believe that they can push a bit higher than what they've been pushing over recent years. Now, the next club I'll be talking about is going to be Burnley, and I feel like Burnley to some extent can be a coffee table book kind of club where it's like, it's there, but I don't know if many people pay attention to that. And I feel like they'll change if Burnley maybe invested in more of a creative player in their midfield. I've looked over social media on all platforms, and Burnley fans seem to be looking for a creative player that they could add to their squad. Many Burnley fans believe that is what they are missing. And this is going to sound like a tiny bit of a weird one, but I've gone for the likes of Matthias Pereira, the attacking midfielder from West Brom last season. I think he was brilliant. 11 goals and 6 assists for West Brom last season. He is in the Championship this season. He would be looking to get back into the Premier League this season. He is a brilliant attacking midfield option, and adding him to this Burnley squad, I feel like Burnley would be a lot less stressed and a lot less pressured in their defense, therefore would do better defensively. And in terms of getting the ball forward to Barnes and Wood, I think that would be a solid option. Therefore, although it's a strange one, I think Matthias Pereira would be an excellent signing for the likes of Burnley. Now going on to the next team, it is Chelsea, and this might be one of the most difficult teams to come up with the transfer for, because what player do you get for a team that's just recently won the Champions League? I think attacking wise they are solid. I know many people want Chelsea to get Erling Haaland or a brand new striker, but in my opinion, I think Tammy Abraham is absolutely brilliant. You could play him over Timo Werner. I think Timo Werner, if you really just work him into a system that fits him around the team, I feel like you could turn him into a brilliant striker. I think Chelsea's midfield, goalkeeper, defense, absolutely everything is brilliant. They've got the depth that is needed, so it's a tricky team to improve. But if I could buy one more player, I think I would go for Matthias GINTER, the Borussia Mönchengladbach centre-back. 27 years old, prime of his career, has been brilliant, was great at the Euros in my opinion, does deserve a big Premier League move, and I think to the likes of Chelsea would be absolutely brilliant. As I said, Chelsea is a very strong team overall. I don't believe they need a new striker, maybe another centre-back option, and at the end of the day, he is German, and let's be honest, we know at this stage that Chelsea like their German players and their German manager, definitely. Now the next team I have, it's going to be the Eagles. Crystal Palace. Now in my opinion, I do believe Crystal Palace need more younger centre-backs. I mean, they just filled off so many old, slow centre-backs that have just been aging quite poorly at the club. In my opinion, it is their weak point. They have recently signed the likes of Anderson from Lyon. I've just seen that 25-year-old centre-back, I believe, who was out on loan at Fulham. That is an absolutely brilliant signing. I do feel like he needs a centre-back partner, and the one I've gone for is the likes of Kabak. Obviously, the player who went out on loan at Liverpool last season. He is the Schalke centre-back. I think he is brilliant. Obviously, very young. I think he's only 23 years old. I don't feel like he got a proper chance in the Premier League. I believe that he does deserve Premier League football on a regular basis. I believe he will get that at Crystal Palace. He'll really be able to prove himself. He's a very fast, very capable ball-playing centre-back who is very, very wise with his decisions. Yes, he does slip up from time to time, but that's only because he's seriously young. He is still learning. I do feel like Crystal Palace do need new wingers though, especially now that Townsend has left. But now moving on to the next club, it is going to be Everton. Once again, Everton is a really good squad. They bought world-class players over the last few years, but have still been underperforming for some reason. And the player I've got is going to be the likes of Jesse Lingard. Once again, Jesse Lingard might not get the game time he deserves at Manchester United this season. We saw when he went out on loan at West Ham last year, he was brilliant. He can play as an attacking midfielder, as a left winger. Obviously, now that Bernard has left Everton, I don't really think Everton have any good left wingers in my opinion. Yes, Richarlison could play there, but I believe Richarlison plays better when he plays as a striker. So JC Lingard to Everton could be brilliant. Obviously, he's also versatile. He could play as an attacking midfielder, which Everton's current attacking midfielders is James Rodriguez, who has been playing right wing for Everton, or Gylfi Sigurdsson, which I won't get too far into those details, but I think Jesse Lingard on the creative front, and in terms of contributing more goal-wise, in terms of getting crosses into the box for Calvert-Lewin, brilliant signing for the likes of Everton. Now the next club I've got, another really attacking team, in the likes of Leeds United. And guys, this might be one of my most weirdest signings yet, as I've gone for the likes of Ross Barkley. Now Leeds United fans, don't hate me. I actually don't know how you guys would feel about a signing like that. But once again, I've looked all over social media, Reddit and Facebook, and multiple Leeds United fans seem to like the idea of getting a new box-to-box midfielder or creative midfielder. Someone to play next to the likes of Calvin Phillips at Leeds United, and I think Ross Barkley might be that man. He's 27 years old. Yes, he is injury prone. I can't remember last when he played more than 30 Premier League games in a single season. He is injury prone, but on his day, he is a brilliant box-to-box midfielder. We saw that in that 7-2 win between Aston Villa and Liverpool. On his day where he is fully fit, I believe Ross Barkley is a fantastic player. Obviously, loan ended at Aston Villa. He is back at Chelsea. I believe that he deserves week in, week out football. And obviously, Pablo Hernandez has recently left Leeds United, so they do need a new attacking midfielder anyway. Leeds United fans, or anyone watching this video, what do you guys think about the likes of Ross Barkley possibly joining Leeds United? I think that would be brilliant. Which, by the way, guys, all these obviously transfer suggestions are just my opinion. I want you guys to put down in the comment section down below, what team do you support in the Premier League? And if you could get one player for your team, who would it? Now moving on, I believe the next team is going to be Leicester City. And looking at Leicester City, I think it's a great team. It is a team that threatens year in, year out. They end up slipping off the Champions League every year though, which, I mean, at this point, it's just the norm, isn't it? But the player I've gone is the likes of Jeremy Doku, the 19-year-old right winger from Rennes. I think he is a fantastic prospect for the future. Yes, he might not be a player for now, but I believe if you get him to Leicester City, a team that's really good with fast-playing ball, that uses a lot of pace in their team, I think he could adapt really well, especially with the likes of Harvey Barnes and Jamie Vardy up front. Obviously, this is the later years of Jamie Vardy's career, so to get a young player next to him, I think would be absolutely brilliant. Yes, only 19 years old, but I think we saw at the Euros for Belgium how great Doku could be, and I think he could really develop into a seriously good player at Leicester City. Now the next team is going to be Liverpool, and I've been saying for years now that if Liverpool could get anything, it could be a creative midfielder, and it should be a creative midfielder. Unfortunately, Thiago hasn't done well in my opinion. Obviously, a huge point for Liverpool is the fact that Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez, Henderson, and all those great players are back from injury. I think that alone will help Liverpool improve off of last season's performances. But as I said, I do believe they need a creative midfielder. Olmo, once again, a player who was fantastic at the Euros. RB Leipzig, in my opinion, didn't do well last season in terms of their strikers, but one player that definitely picked up on the attacking element for Leipzig was DANI Olmo, getting 9 assists and 4 goals in the Bundesliga last season. If you take him to the Premier League, I believe in terms of his distribution to players like Mane and Salah, he will be brilliant in the Premier League. He's made for the Premier League. Now the next team is going to be Manchester City, I do believe, and obviously they will be looking for a new striker without Sergio Aguero at the club. I mean, Manchester City is a brilliant team with 3 world-class players in each position, but obviously without Aguero, they do need a new striker. And my strike option, it is going to be Tammy Abraham. Yes, no Erling Haaland, no Harry Kane, and my previous video I made on this channel was a full video where I went in depth of why I believe Tammy Abraham is the perfect strike option for Manchester City. I gave 3 reasons why he is the best possible striker Manchester City could get. Now, I won't get too far into detail and repeat myself in this video, so if you want to hear why I believe Tammy Abraham is perfect for Manchester City, check out that video. I'll link it in the description down below, or the I thingy up above, or even if you want to watch it later, I'll link it at the end of this video. Now, Manchester United is next, and I'm a happy Manchester United fan. I will admit this. If we've got Rafael Varane, which United, please don't bottle that, and Jadon Sancho, and obviously, I mean, Tom Heaton, yay. That is a seriously complete transfer window in my opinion. Now, there's still talks that Paul Pogba might leave Manchester United. In that case, the only transfer suggestion I can really make is going to be the likes of Milinkovic-Savic, the Lazio midfielder. A really tall, just no-nonsense kind of midfielder who's in, obviously, he's in his mid-20s. He's been bossing it around for years, been linked to Manchester United for years, which if Paul Pogba leaves, if you get Savic, McTominay, and Bruno Fernandes, our trio midfield at Manchester United, I think that is more than good enough in the Premier League. I'd like to see more of Donny van de Beek, but at this point I've just given up on it. I'm not sure Manchester United are ever going to end up playing Donny van de Beek. I'm pretty sure Messi will have more minutes in the Premier League next season than Donny van de Beek at this point. But you know what, as I said, if Pogba leaves, I do think that Savic would be a brilliant option. Yes, United do need a new striker once Cavani leaves, but that's only a problem for a year's time. I don't think United need a new attacking right back option because I do think Delo is good enough, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka has picked up in that point. Now moving on to the next team, it is going to be Newcastle United, and I'm going to bring the boyhood crush back home in the likes of Joe Willock. Obviously went out on loan from Arsenal last season to Newcastle United, ended up getting 8 goals. I'm pretty sure he got a Premier League Player of the Month award. He was brilliant on loan at Newcastle United. Obviously, I feel like there's a lot of stress on Newcastle United, on just Wilson up front. I feel like there was a lot of pressure on him. Obviously, Almiron and Saint Maximin, they are brilliant attacking players, but I do feel like you need that creative player like Willock in the midfield. After he performed last season, I believe you should bring him back to the club. Yes, I think they do need another centre-back option, maybe someone like Chris Smalling they could try bring back to the Premier League. But as I said, just because of how he played last season, I believe Joe Willock is the man for Newcastle United. Now, the next player, it is going to be for the Canary series, it is going to be for Norwich City, who defensively I think are so solid. I think Tim Krul is a world-class goalkeeper that doesn't get the credit he deserves. I think they've got a good midfield. They could sign 1 or 2 more midfielders on the attacking front, maybe another backup striker. Obviously, I'm excited to see the likes of Rashika, Pookie, and Todd Cantwell. I think that's going to be a brilliant attacking trio if they can play something like that. But in terms of a transfer suggestion, I've actually gone for another defensive option, and I've gone for the likes of John Egan, obviously the Sheffield United centre-back. Obviously, Sheffield United as a whole didn't do well last season, but the season before that, John Egan, outside of the top 6 European clubs in the Premier League, I think John Egan was one of the best centre-backs in the league. On his day where he is fully fit, John Egan, the Irish centre-back, can be absolutely brilliant, can be unstoppable, and in a team like Norwich, where they've already got a decent defence, I think he'll work wonders. Yes, Norwich maybe do need another new left-back, but as it stands, I think John Egan would be an excellent inclusion in the club. Now moving on to the next team, it is going to be the Saints, Southampton FC, and I so badly want to put down the likes of Aaron Ramsdale from Sheffield United. I think he would be a brilliant goalkeeper option for Southampton. Obviously a really bright up-and-coming goalkeeper, but I can't put him because, believe it or not, Southampton doesn't have one decent left back, in my opinion. So because of that, guys, you can blame Southampton. I can't go for Aaron Ramsdale, and I am going to go, once again, it's a player I've repeated before, but I'm going to go for the likes of Brandon Williams. Once again, he doesn't get the game time he deserves. I believe he should go to a club like Southampton where he can put forward his attacking ability, a modern day fullback, if you may, because once again, no proper left back option at Southampton. They don't have good wingers, in my opinion. I do feel like they have to improve on the winger front, but other than that, it's a really solid team overall, and if they can play Brandon Williams like they do Kyle Walker-Peters, I think that is a solid option. Whether they bring Williams in on a 1-year loan and then buy him, or just buy him outright, something like that, I feel like, once again, beneficial to both parties. Now, the next team I will be talking about, I think it is Tottenham Hotspurs, and it is. Now, Tottenham Hotspurs have obviously just lost Toby Alderweireld, which is such a huge loss. A solid centre-back option. He will be missed at Spurs, and because of that, default-wise, I feel like they do need a new centre-back option. I feel like centre-back-wise, they are very thin at Tottenham Hotspurs, almost as thin as Daniel Levi's hair, to be honest with you. So they do need another centre-back option, and I'm going to go for the likes of NICO ELVEDI. Obviously, if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you know how much I rate ELVEDI. We saw him at the Euros, how he was basically in Kylian Mbappe's pocket, a world-class centre-back, one of the best centre-backs in the world, in my opinion, at Borussia Mönchengladbach, doesn't get the credit he deserves, and if you get him to the Premier League, I think he'll be one of the best centre-backs in the league. I mean, at the end of the day, I think Spurs signing a new contract extension for Heung-min Son is almost like getting a big transfer, and so, you know what, Spurs, very solid. If they can keep Harry Kane, then I believe it is one of the most successful transfer markets you can get for them. Now, moving on to the next club, it is going to be Watford, which, yes, they got re-promoted to the Premier League. I think it is a fantastic squad. They've got fantastic goalkeepers. Obviously, Danny Rose being added to the squad, I think that is a huge transfer on his day. Is a fantastic left back and one of the best English left backs in the world, in my opinion. So underrated. I think they've got decent midfielders, could maybe use more attacking midfield options. They've got good attack, some old players, some young players maybe could use some improvements there. But the player I've gone for is the likes of Shane Duffy. Yes, it is the Brighton centre-back, but as I said, looking at the likes of Brighton, I think Webster and Dunk are fantastic centre-back options, and obviously Duffy was loaned out to Celtic, I believe it was last season. He does deserve game time, a fantastic Irish centre-back, does deserve game time week in, week out. Yes, 29 years old, but if you can get him to Watford for 3-4 years, I believe that is a solid centre-back option, and he's got a lot of leadership behind him. I think he'll do great at a team like Watford. Now, the second last team, guys, is going to be West Ham United. Now, I'd love to bring Jesse Lingard back home, but with Antonio as the only striker option, I do believe they need another centre-back, as they don't have Sebastian Haller anymore, and it is a player I have repeated before in the likes of Tammy Abraham. I personally believe that Tammy Abraham is a better striker than Timo Werner. I mean, his goal per minute ratio is 1,000,000 times better. I think he's a fantastic striker. As I said, I think he should go to Manchester City, but if he could go to West Ham United and they could win the Europa League, that would be huge for him. I think Tammy Abraham to West Ham United would be genuinely maybe one of the best signings of the transfer window. Guys, that takes us to our 20th, club number 20, our final transfer suggestion, as it is going to be Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, I'd like to suggest almost maybe another striker option, because we learned Wolves without Raul Jimenez It's essentially a chocolate coffee pot. I mean, it's just useless and everything falls apart, but I'm not going to put another strike option. I'm going to go for a creative midfielder in the likes of Renato Sanches, 23 years old. Obviously, he is Portuguese, so that is a huge plus for Wolverhampton Wanderers, but we saw him once again at the Euros when he plays in the right system. He can play as a defensive midfielder, central midfielder, attacking midfielder, but we saw him at the Euros when he is in that Portuguese squad. He adds a whole different element in terms of attack. And obviously, Wolves are looking at another attacking midfielder option. They might lose Ruben Neves apparently to Manchester United, so getting a midfielder like Renato Sanches would be brilliant for Wolves. Only 23 years old, has such a bright future. But that, ladies and gentlemen, those are my 20 transfer suggestions for each Premier League club. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I'm so excited for the upcoming Premier League season. Obviously, this video took quite a lot of work in terms of research, editing, all that kind of stuff, coming up with 20 different players that wouldn't offend the fans too much. I hope I didn't offend any fans. So of course, if you want to see more content from me in the future, make sure that you do subscribe down below. I would really appreciate your support. I'd like to reach 1,600 subscribers as soon as possible. That would be so awesome. Make sure that you like this video down below as well. Could we please get this video to 20 likes? But guys, I'm so excited for the upcoming season. As I said, tell me down below which team you support in the Premier League, and if you could get one player, who would it be? But guys, hope you have enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it. This has been Finn, FYW. Love and appreciate every single one of you. Cheers.